Come and take a ride, where frenetic synthesizers meet the mesmerizing open road. My name is Abby Fellow. Welcome to Dash Jam. On today's episode, our guest is Jaimz Asmundson, the late great filmmaker, director of Dave Barber Cinematheque, and synth magician of dark electronic group Ghost Twin. Jaimz is interviewed by friend and fellow film enthusiast David Knipe. They talk about Jaimz's artistic history while trying to find a place in Transcona to thrift VHS tapes. What happens next will shock you. Enjoy the ride.
So here we are with Jaimz Asmundson, subject of today's Dash Jam. Jaimz, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing, David?
Great.
So do you want to talk about David?
We'll talk about you. So how did you get into music originally? Was music always a part of your household growing up?
Not at all. My parents didn't enroll me in any kind of piano lessons or any kind of like voice lessons.
No junior school band?
I played trombone in junior high.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I think it was just because that was like the one instrument that people who didn't know how to play music, they would give them that instrument because it's like a lot harder to mess up, even though I actually ended up being pretty good at it. Yeah. Then my dad got me a PC when I was like 12, 13, and there was like the Windows like audio recorder on there, and you could like speed things up and slow things down, and you could also like copy a sound and then paste it on top of another sound. So I ended up actually making a whole bunch of like weird like experimental like noise music.
Yeah.
Just using that, like just using like a one-track recorder. I'd like record stuff from movies and like slow it down and then like loop it, you know, and like I made a lot of like looping kind of experiments.
Okay.
And like there was this like at the time there was this thing called mp3.com, and you could like upload like music that you had made, and I put a bunch of stuff on there, and it actually did pretty well. Like I was like number one in the Winnipeg, you know, like tag or whatever. Yeah. I was always kind of obsessed with like trying to like create visuals in music. Think very visually, and the music that I was making was like it would kind of transport you to a different place, you know.
Right.
I was trying to tell a story with it.
Well, and using movie clips and stuff like that as well, right?
Yeah. And it was just like kind of a lot of inspired by dreams and stuff like that, and I have a very active dream life, and that's kind of what I was doing, and then it kind of grew from there.
What about mp3.com? Was there like a community there?
Yeah, there was. I ended up like meeting a bunch of people on there, and then by going to like the goth night at Wellington's, but I met a bunch of guys who had music on there too, and they were like kind of like aware of what I was doing too because of like what I put online, and I don't know, and they ended up teaching me quite a bit about like actual like electronic music production.
Cool.
But not that I ended up making anything better, but then I started a band with a couple of friends. It's called Suture Fugue, and I was the singer, and it was very terrible. But you know, we had a lot of fun doing it for the most part.
Was that the peak, the pinnacle era for goth in Winnipeg?
I think so.
Peak of the scene? Yeah. What was it like?
It was pretty exciting now. Just for me, it was like somebody who liked that music. I had some friends that liked it, but I didn't really know like any kind of exterior community of people or other people, you know, in Winnipeg that liked it. So I kind of just met a bunch of random people, and it just felt like home. Like I could just go there and just hang out, and if I didn't feel like dancing, if I just felt like hanging out and talking, there was lots of people who just wanted to do the same, and you know, yeah, it was pretty sweet.
Are you still friends with a lot of people that you met?
I see them every once in a while. That was where I met Karen. I was introduced to her by a friend, like a mutual friend we had.
Who's Karen?
My wife.
So what happened after Suture Fugue?
Nothing. Well, Jeremy, who was in the band, he started his own project. Well, he had his own project all along called Distorted Memory, which was much better.
So were you making your own music on the side at the same time?
Yeah, I was making my own music. I didn't really have any aspirations, so it was just kind of some like a form of expression. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I was saying, like it was really it was really kind of visual, and I was always trying to tell stories. It was like very concept heavy, and then I just started making films instead. Like I had made a couple of videos. I went to Video Pool and I hung around there during high school, and they said, "Oh, you should like make some work if you want to like learn." So I started making this really silly video called "Attack of the 50-Foot Chihuahua from Outer Space," and which got a bit of play, and I got like my first artist fee check, which was pretty exciting. And yeah, I started making a few things after that, and I got the first video fund from Video Pool, and I made 2 videos out of that. Both were pretty bad. One was a sequel to 50-Foot Chihuahua, which went horribly wrong. I had no idea what I was doing. The other one was about like when I was mid-teenager and I was really depressed and tried to kill myself a bunch of times. And so it was kind of about me calling all my friends and saying, well, I'm going to kill myself. So, if you care about me, then call me and wake me up.
Yeah.
And then I just kept getting prank phone calls when I was waiting for my friends to call me to tell me not to do it.
Which ended up saving your life anyway?
No, but then it was just like all these like threads of story about these prank phone calls, and then I died at the end. I am bleeding out of my eyes. Yeah.
The way most depressed teenagers kill themselves.
Yeah. But then I just decided I was going to spend all of my college savings on making an actual film, and I got really obsessed with Orson Welles and like composition, and I like really planned out I feel like I've never had a chance since then to like living at home and not having to have a job, and just like
pour all of your resources.
Yeah, and like just thinking about like how every shot relates to the like power dynamic in the scene of like who's kind of in charge in the scene. And I think that's like my best film I've ever made, honestly.
What was that one called?
Carpet Cleaners.
Oh yeah.
It was like loosely based on like a girlfriend that I had and my friend had, and then just like made up shit about like us, me and my friend not wanting our friend to like see his girlfriend because she was taking time away from us, and so we hire some lesbian hitmen to kill her, but then she ends up joining the lesbian hitman, and then they kill us. And it's very, but then I don't know, I like ended up playing a bunch of festivals and stuff like that, and yeah.
So then you got more into filmmaking. Were you kind of leaving music off to the side, or?
Well, no, sorry, I'm getting so I made that film, and then Suture Few got a bit more involved. So we started playing a lot of shows and stuff like that, like locally, and I kind of put films to the side for a while. And then once that fizzled, I got back into filmmaking again. And I made this film called Liquid Lunch. I don't think you've ever seen, because I don't have it online, and I don't really want anyone to see it anymore. But it was like the one film that like led to me traveling the most out of any film that I ever made, because it was just so ridiculous.
So flash forward to Ghost Twin. How did that start?
That was I had no interest in making music anymore, really. At that point,
something happened, or?
Yeah, well, Karen. When I met Karen, she was in this band called Quirkus, and that was pretty much like for the next 10 years of our relationship. She was in this band, and I was involved quite a bit. Like, I did like a lot of like their poster design and stuff like that, and I did like live visuals for them, and I did like sound for them a couple times. I think I played keyboard in the band a couple times, just like very basic, and. But then, they'd gone on tour, and the band kind of broke up on tour, and Karen came back, and she was pretty bummed about it, because she'd spent so much time of her life on this band and didn't really have a lot to show for it. I mean, other than like, 1,000 CDs in our basement.
Okay. So back to Ghost Twin. I
become more involved in like film and film festivals, and I started programming at the Windex Festival Moving Image, and my films were taking me to film festivals. I went to this one screening that was recommended to me, this fellow Tasman Richardson, and he was doing like live film performance. And I ended up talking to him, and we had this really strange interaction because he's kind of quiet and shy when you first get to know him, and he didn't really seem to like me. But then I brought him out to Windex, and then over a beer, we ended up just figuring out that we had like, everything in common and bonded quite a bit. And then we became pretty good friends. And then I started getting interested in what he was doing in live film performance. because it just seemed exciting, because you spend months or a year on a film and then give it away and send it away and people watch it. And then you can go there maybe. It's always fun to like experience your work with other people and see what they respond to. If they think the same things are funny that you think are funny, if they get like what you're trying to do, if it's a bit more esoteric or something. Then I made this film about my dad. I got asked to play it in Iceland, and then I just kind of bullshitted and said, oh, actually I'm working on this like performance version of it where I like play the movie live. And then my friend Jeremy, who was I was in the band with years ago, he did the soundtrack, and I was like, yeah, and he'll play the music live. And they're like, oh, that sounds great. Yeah, yeah. Can you come and do that? And I was like, okay, shit. This was like 6 months away, so I asked Tasman, and he hooked me up with the software he was using and taught me how to do it. I went over to his house when I was in Toronto. He showed me how he did everything, and then we did like a Skype screen share, and he showed me how to use the software and taught me how to do like this editing style he did. And yeah, then we did the performance, and it was like 20 minutes, and it was like the biggest rush I've ever had in my life. I was like, I got to do that again. That was so fun. And then I got really excited about the possibility of like doing live video performance. And when I came home, I could see Karen was bummed. Like she'd done a few open mics and stuff like that, and but wasn't really feeling like. She had the performance bug. She wanted to make music and perform music, and like, you know, that's what she lives and breathes. And I was like, why don't we collaborate on something? It's a long-winded answer, but I was like, why don't we just do something? And Karen was like pretty hesitant about it because, you know, we were married and we had a pretty good marriage, and she didn't want to ruin the marriage by having this like tumultuous like band life together.
Definitely. Especially after having her band dissolved.
Then yeah, I don't know. We wrote a couple songs, and then I think I played them for some friends, and then Damien said, hey, you should send this to my friend Pat. He really liked this music. And so I sent it to Pat, who was making music at the time. And he was like, oh man, I really like this music. You should play a show with me. And I was like, oh, we only have 2 songs. So then Karen and I had this like whirlwind of like writing enough material to have like a set to play at a show. And we did it. And it's probably some of the best songs we've ever written.
Yeah.
And a lot of people came to the show. The main thing people said to us was, that wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. It was actually pretty good.
That's a great compliment.
Yes. Yeah.
It sounds like a lot of what you were doing early on is faking it till you could make it. You know, saying that you had a video performance that you were going to do without having the skills or knowledge how to do one at that point. And then you and Karen saying you can play a show without having any songs or enough songs for a set.
Yeah.
Is that kind of how you approach a lot of things creatively? Is just, you know, set a goal for yourself and figure out how?
Yeah, it is. I don't know what I'm doing. Anything. I don't feel like I'm an expert about anything. I mean, I guess maybe like I know quite a bit more than some people do, but I still don't feel like I know what I'm doing. But I'm just having fun doing it.
So, what was the writing process like between you and Karen early on?
It's the same as it is now. But yeah, we usually end up like we'll either write the song alone and then we'll work on it together or something like that. Like like a lot of times, like I'll have an idea for something and I'll say, I don't know, can you do something with this? You know, like, or she'll have some kind of stems of a song, like just little loops, and I'll go, oh, I hear something in here, you know, and I'll start putting it together and it ends up being something.
Did you guys ever find differences of opinion when you're creating songs together?
We do have differences of opinion on sometimes, but we always listen to each other. It's kind of the same core of our relationship, is that we respect each other's opinion.
They're closed again, James.
What? No, David.
It's not meant to be.
Closed?
Yeah, it looks like it. They're all black.
Closed!
You're never going to be able to check out the Mission thrift store.
They have so many tapes here that I want.
Where you can save more than money.
Oh.
You know what else it is they're talking about you can save?
What?
Your soul.
Oh.
If you shop there. Yeah, I'm always so interested and impressed with these creative couple collaborations and how you can manage to sustain that level of like intense, passionate creativity and balance that with your relationship outside of that. And you know, I always wonder like where the line is. Like, do you make Do you draw lines in between those two relationships, or do you have boundaries?
It kind of ends up being the same.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's just become our relationship. It just become part of the relationship.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever worry then if the creative relationship fell off? What would happen to?
No, it's just been like the new. It's just been like a new part of our relationship. Like that we make music together. We have this, loving romantic relationship, and then we have a music relationship on top of that too, and it ends up being kind of a business relationship too. I mean, marriage is kind of a business.
Yeah.
Like you buy a house together, you own things together. Like it's making music isn't really that much different, honestly. Hey, Karen was asking me the other day to remind her why we started getting so excited about VHS, and I can't really remember.
Yeah, what was it? There's no great origin story of like the one tape that got us back into it.
Well, there was that one time we were at work and I said, oh, I really want to find this movie that I liked when I was a kid. And there was like this boy, and he was riding on a bike. It was like Elliot from E.T. And there was like this monster or something in this lake, but it ended up just being like this like old like machinery. They thought it was like a monster in the lake.
But you just spoiled it for me.
But then you typed it into Google and you found it like, oh, it's a movie called The Quest.
Yeah.
But that was like kind of I think what really sprung it for me was finding that tape again.
How does Karen feel about your VHS addiction?
I mean, I've always been like this though. Like, there's always been something.
Records before that.
Well, it was movies before. Like when I first met her, I had a big VHS collection. Then I started getting into DVDs, and I had a big DVD collection. Oh, then I got into books. I mean, like, not that I was never into books before, but I started getting into collecting books.
Yeah.
And collecting like weird books, stuff like that. And then records.
Yeah.
And then Nintendo games. And then back to movies again.
Yeah, you're just like me. You always need something to be obsessing about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really makes you wonder, like, if we didn't have these things, these collections to obsess over, I mean, would be like abject drug addicts or...
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I do have an addictive personality. There was a year where I was like a big pothead. And it was kind of like, I had this friend and he was almost like, let's go big or go home, like let's smoke. Let's smoke until we can't feel our legs anymore. And I was like, okay, sure, And then one day I realized I was like, I don't even remember what I'd done this year.
Yeah.
And I'm not really happy doing this. And then I think I hadn't smoked for a couple of days, and I was like, whoa. I had the alcoholic moment of clarity. And I was like, hey, you know what? Maybe oh no, you know what it was? I read this book by Aleister Crowley called Diary of a Drug Fiend. That's kind of about these two people that are doing a lot of drugs. But it's a lot more than that. But then they end up having to realize that drugs are okay in moderation. And as long as it's your will that's deciding you want to do a drug or drink or something, and not the drug is deciding that for you. I think I realized it's like, I have my individuality has melted away, and I need to regain that. And I feel like at that point I ended up becoming a much stronger willed person because of that. Like, not that I wasn't before, but I kind of lost it,
Well, I don't know. I've seen you go mad and buy a bunch of tapes online, so I don't know if your willpower is that strong, James.
No, I think I have just figured out what's reasonable.
So you mentioned Aleister Crowley, and obviously a lot of everything you do is very influenced by the occult and esoteric.
Is it?
I don't know. Some can say. So where does that come from?
It's because I wasn't raised with any particular religion. I was a very agnostic household, and which meant that I was always really fascinated by religion. My parents kind of didn't really raise me with any kind of belief system. I mean, they were both very spiritual people, and my dad's always been into weird things, and the occult and stuff like that. And I guess that was an influence on me. I don't really know how to answer that question. Like, I guess it's just like, I've always had had a pretty wild imagination. My dad actually taught me how to lucid dream when I was a kid. He told me that next time you're in a dream, and you spin around 3 times, you'll wake up. And that doesn't do anything, but it triggered that memory in my brain because I wanted to wake up in my dream. So when I remember I was at a beach in my dream, and I spun around and I woke up in my dream. And ever since then, I've been able to, like, all of my dreams, essentially, I know I'm dreaming. I'm never like not aware that I'm having a dream, which is really exciting because you can kind of like do whatever you want in your dreams at that point. Like, you can go explore. It's like an open world video game or something, you know?
Yeah.
And like I learned how to like fly in my dreams. Like, I have this very specific method of flying in my dreams, like that I do all the time, you know? So it's pretty fun. And I think that's probably what influenced the occult, because it's like very mystical and stuff like that.
So we were talking about the occult and why you're drawn to it. What about the projections, the images that you're using in the background projections for Ghost Twin live shows?
Yeah, well, I'm kind of borrowing a lot of like symbols from other movies in a way of like just conveying particular emotion or idea. A lot of our songs are soaked in the occult, but they come from a very emotional place. A lot of it's very emotional and personal, but we're like looking at it through like this kind of occult lens to obscure it, make it more esoteric. Really like writing things like that literal, you know? So yeah, so we end up using a lot of images from those things. Like, some of it's a bit more in your face and obvious what it's about. And I think it's pretty obvious song by song, but yeah, that's kind of where it comes from. But then like using those symbols, like it creates this weird seance sometimes. It's very trance-like, which was kind of surprising to me, was just like how entranced people get sometimes when we're playing. And like my favorite was when we played a show in Montreal, and the lighting was kind of odd, like for the stage. It's in that if we had our projections on, you couldn't, and the lights are on, you couldn't see the projections. So we just said, just turn all the lights off, just have it completely black in the whole bar. So it was only lit by our projections. So I couldn't see anybody in the audience, but they could see us perfectly. Yeah. And then like I could hear people, and I was like, are people here? Like, I can't really tell. And it was just quiet. I was like, can you turn the lights on? And like turn the lights on, and like everybody was just standing there staring at me, like just like completely zombified. Yeah. And I was like, whoa, okay, you guys having fun? Like, and then they all started cheering, and it was like, wow, like we really like captured these people. That was pretty exciting.
So is that the ideal state of a Ghost Twin audience? What's the average Ghost Twin fan like? Have you noticed that there's a type that are typically drawn to your music?
Goth. Weird, I guess. Like, we want people to dance. We want people to have fun. We want people to get whipped up into a frenzy. We want the like sigils that we're making with the visuals, like, entrance people and take them to another place. Yeah. And that's what I like to do. And if they're not doing that, then some point in doing it.
Sounds like you guys want to be a bit of like cult ritual leaders.
That's exactly what we're doing. It is a goth. He likes Ghost Twin.
Yeah. Roll the windows down. Wouldn't that be a way to end the show? Nice fiery car wreck.
How long have we been doing this for? Too long.
Our entire lives.
Okay, well, let's wrap it up soon.
We've always been here in the car, James.